Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our monthly meeting of the Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals. At this time, I would like to ask everyone who is able to stand as we recite our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I will now call our meeting to order. At this time, if you haven't already, please silence your cell phones. Thank you. For those of you who do not have a copy of the agenda or who are attending for the very first time, we will address cases that are first on consent. These cases have been reviewed by the board and the professionals from various departments in the county, and to which there is no known opposition at this time. We have discussed these in our work session. Certain staff comments and stipulations have been made, and we do not anticipate any further discussion is needed for a decision. So as we go forward, the County Zoning Division Manager, Mr. John Peterson, will read each case into the record. Mr. Peterson will ask that you raise your hand as your case is being called to signify that you are present. If you are here in opposition to a case that is currently on consent, Mr. Peterson will ask you to identify yourself as that case is read into record. We will then pull that case off of consent and hear it as part of our regular case agenda. We will then vote on all of the cases still on consent at one time. Once we have approved the cases on consent, we will move forward with our regular case agenda. With that, Mr. Peterson, will you please get us started?
Sure. There are some cases that have been held or continued, and these cases will not be heard today. First case is variance case V36 of 2026, Zachy Merchant. This case was continued by the staff until the September 9th, 2026 Board of Zoning Appeals hearing. So V36 of 2026 will not be heard today. Variance case V62 of 2026, Iglesia del Dios Viva Columna y Apoyo de la Verdad, La Luz del Mundo, Inc. This case was held by the, or continued by the Board of Zoning Appeals until the September 9th, 2026 Board of Zoning Appeals hearing. So V62 of 2026 will not be heard today. Variance case V80 of 2026, Timothy M. Strickland. This case was continued by the staff until the September 9th, 2026 Board of Zoning Appeals variance hearing. So V80 of 2026 will not be heard today. Madam Chair, Board, I did get a request late to also continue variance case V102 of 2026, Jared Prezano. They need to add one more variance request to it, so the staff would ask the board to continue variance V102 until your September 9th hearing. Yes.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
And a second? Second by Commissioner Swanson. Call to question. It passes 4-0 to hold V102 to September.
Okay, and lastly, we did get a request yesterday to continue one other case. That's a variance case V70 of 2026, Juan C. Garcia and Mara Garcia. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to this case? There's no one here to oppose it. The applicant did ask to continue this case, and that's still what you guys want to do? Okay, you want to hear it now? Okay. Okay, so cancel that. We're going to hear that case when it comes up, Madam Chair and Board. Okay, let me see where I'm at. All right. And with that, Madam Chair and Board, I'm ready to start the consent agenda. And before we begin, Madam Chair and Board, we're going to pull V103 of 2026, Lauren and Marcus Scott, and also V109 of 2026, Thomas Campbell, off consent. And we're just going to put those two cases in their regular order.
Thank you.
Okay, Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals, variance hearing consent agenda for August 12th, 2026. First case on consent is variance case V104. Richard Scalise requests a variance to allow an accessory structure which is a proposed in-ground pool to be located on the side of the principal building in land lot 768 of the 17th district. The property is located on the east side of Orchard Road, north of Valley View Drive. Staff recommends approval, subject to stormwater management comments. The applicant is present. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case at V104? Okay, we have one person opposed, so we're going to pull V104 off the consent agenda and put it in its regular order. All right, variance case V105, Matthew Thomas, requests a variance to, one, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is a proposed 364 square foot garage, required 35 feet to 29 feet, adjacent to the western property line. Number two, allow an accessory structure, which is a proposed 364 square foot garage to be located closer to the road than the principal building. Number three, reduce the rear setback required 35 feet to 20 feet for the existing home. And number four, allow for a second electrical meter in land lot 303 of the 20th district. The property is located on the northeast corner of Pavilion Drive and Antioch Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to development inspections comments. And number two, no residential dwelling use of the accessory structure. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case of V105? Okay, let the record show that no one opposed. V106, Dwayne Bell and Sean Wedderburn request a variance to reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is a proposed 240 square foot pavilion, required 35 feet to 26 feet, adjacent to the eastern property line in land lot 991 of the 17th district. The property is located on the east side of Lake Ridge Drive, north of Cliff Ridge Court. Staff recommends approval. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V106? Okay, let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V107, Dale Deno requests a variance to, one, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is a proposed 720 square foot garage from required 100 feet to 81 feet adjacent to the northern property line, 77 feet adjacent to the western property line, and 4 feet adjacent to the eastern property line. And number two, reduce the front setback from required 50 feet to 47 feet for the existing home in land lot 335 of the 19th district. The property is located on the south side of Kimberly Drive, south of Sterling Trail. Staff recommends approval, subject to stormwater management comments. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V107? Okay, let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V108, Adam Ella Bahani, excuse me about that, and Wafa Abulela request a variance to, one, allow an accessory structure, which is a proposed 512 square foot above ground pool to be located on the side of the principal building. Number two, allow an accessory structure, which is a proposed 800 square foot pool house with a wooden deck to be located on the side of the principal building. Number three, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is a proposed 512 square foot above ground pool, required 35 feet to 34 feet adjacent to the northern property line. Number four, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is a proposed 800 square foot pool house with wooden deck from required 100 feet to 71 feet adjacent to the western property line and 19 feet adjacent to the northern property line. And number five, reduce the rear setback from required 35 feet to 17 feet for the existing home in land lot 277 of the 20th district. The property is located on the north side of Hickory View Drive, east of Hickory View Court. Staff recommends approval, subject to, one, stormwater management comments, and number two, no residential dwelling use or commercial use of the accessory structure. Is the applicant present? Okay, let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V108? Okay, let the record show there's no one opposed. And last case on consent is variance case V110. Maria Pierce requests a variance to, one, reduce the front setback from required 35 feet to 27 feet for the existing home. Number two, reduce the side setback from required 10 feet to 0 feet adjacent to the northern property line for the existing home. And number 3, reduce the side setback from required 10 feet to 2 feet adjacent to the southern property line for the existing home in land lot 219 of the 17th district. The property is located on the west side of Lakewood Road, south of Garrison Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to setbacks can be 0 feet for both side property lines. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to the variance case of V110? Let the record show there's no one opposed. And that completes the consent agenda, Madam Chair and Board.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns about the consent agenda for anybody on the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second by Commissioner Russell. Call to question. Consent agenda passes 4-0. For those of you whose case was on consent, you are now free to go. If you do leave, please do so quickly and quietly so that we may proceed with our regular case agenda. We'll give you guys a few moments to make your exit. Thank you so much. All right, now we are ready to proceed with our regular case agenda. Our procedure here is that Mr. Peterson will read a case into a record. The applicant and/or representative of the applicant who wishes to speak will be asked to come forward to be sworn in. Likewise, anyone wishing to speak in opposition or support will be asked to come forward to be sworn in as well. The applicant and opposition will each have a total of 10 minutes to present their case, regardless of the number of individuals speaking for either side. All testimony must be given from the podium to my right, where full AV capabilities are available. Please be sure to speak into the mic so that we can clearly hear you. Following the presentations, members of the board may ask questions directed at either party. Please note that once comments from all parties have concluded and the public hearing has been formally closed, no further comments will be permitted unless specifically requested by a member of the board. If you are called upon, you will only be asked to return to the podium to respond. With that, Mr. Peterson, we are ready for our first case.
Okay, first case we're going to hear is variance case V67. Jeff Taylor requests a variance to 1, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is a proposed 2,400 square foot garage from required 100 feet to 86 feet adjacent to the eastern property line. Number 2, allow a second electrical meter. And number 3, allow access and maneuvering on a non-hard surface, which is gravel, in land lots 401 and 414 of the 19th district. The property is located on the north side of Macklin Road, west of John Ward Road. Is the applicant present? Okay, let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V67? Okay, you've got one opposed. All those who want to address the board, either for or against, please come forward to be sworn in.
Good afternoon. If you will state your name for the record, share with us the details of your variance request. You do have 10 minutes.
Report from, can you hear me?
If you'll start over one more time for me, the
Okay.
mic was not on. Thank you.
I'm Kelly Taylor. I'm Jeff Taylor's wife, and I'm going to read the first part, which is a report from Kim Shorter at Sustainable Water Planning and Engineering, and my husband will show a video of the location of the slab and direction of Mr. Patterson's home. Stormwater inspection of 1830 Macklin Road. Mr. Taylor constructed a roughly 40 by 60 foot concrete pad, 2,400 square feet, as the foundation for a future workshop storage area at 1830 Macklin Road, Figure 1. Following a complaint from the neighbor at 1900 Macklin Road, Mr. Taylor engaged Sustainable Water Planning and Engineering to assess whether drainage from the concrete pad for the future garage were impacting the water quality in the lake. The inspection of 1830 Macklin Road was performed on August 5th, 2026 by Kimberly Shorter. The site inspection included reviewing the area around the proposed garage and upstream properties to assess drainage patterns. The site inspection followed heavy rains. Cobb County has a rigorous stormwater program that includes requirements for new developments that create more than 5,000 square feet of new impervious area, disturb over 1 acre of land, or a hot spot such as a gas station. This project does not meet any of those criteria and does not require a formal stormwater management plan. According to the Georgia Stormwater Management Manual, downspout disconnects are appropriate for impervious area 2,500 square feet or less and requires an overland vegetated path of at least 15 feet, Figure 2. This site meets these criteria, and most of the overland flow is over and considerably longer length than 15 feet. Currently, there are no signs of concentrated flow coming from the concrete pad at the property line downstream of the concrete pad, Figure 3. During the inspection, there were signs of water draining across 1830 Macklin Road onto 1900 Macklin Road. However, this flow is generated on upstream properties and simply conveyed across Mr. Taylor's property. There is a pipe under the driveway located on 1846 Macklin Road, but appears to be shared by several properties, 1846, 1900, 1840, and possibly 1828 Macklin Road. Upstream stormwater is conveyed through the pipe under the driveway and onto 1830 Macklin Road, which is our property. Stormwater flows through a riprap channel, and then sheets flow across the northern grassed area of 1830 Macklin Road prior to flowing onto 1900 Macklin Road. Figure 4. The flow bypasses the concrete pad area, and stormwater from the concrete pad does not flow into this drainage, Figure 5. From a drainage perspective, the concrete pad is in an ideal location. It is downstream of the septic tank, avoiding overwhelming the soils in that area. It is to the west of the drainage from upstream properties described in the previous paragraph. The majority of the drainage from the concrete pad flows west by southwest across the backyard of 1830 Macklin Road in sheet flows for a distance of over 250 feet before leaving the property into the channel downstream of the pond in question, Figure 7. The majority of the water from the concrete pad and proposed garage does not flow into the pond at 1900 Macklin Road. It flows overland across 1830 Macklin Road as sheet flows and infiltrates into the ground. A very small portion of the slope adjacent to the concrete pad does flow north. There were no signs at the property line of flow from the garage impacting 1900 Macklin Road. There does appear to be some flow patterns behind the fence located on 1830 Macklin Road, where the water from 1900 Macklin Road flows onto 1830 Macklin Road and then back onto 1900 Macklin Road, but there was no evidence of erosion or concentrated flows. This stormwater movement is due to natural topography and is not associated with the concrete pad or proposed garage. During the inspection, appropriate erosion and sediment control measures were installed. Maintenance of these controls actively being performed during the inspection in preparation for impending storms. The proper controls were installed and being maintained as required by law. There was no evidence of sediment leaving the property from the construction and entering another property observed during the inspection. Based on the inspection, the concrete pad is not causing stormwater management challenges for the owner at 1900 Macklin Road. The concrete pad is located in the ideal location from a stormwater perspective. While the Cobb County stormwater management requirements do not apply to this project, the proper BMPs are in place to address the post-construction stormwater flows. The proper erosion and sediment control measures are in place and being maintained to address construction runoff.
Hey, I'm Jeff Taylor. I'm Kelly's husband. After meeting with Mr. Andrew Heath yesterday, he had some suggestions to accommodate Mr. Patterson's drainage and vision issues. There's a swell berm on the other side of our fence that we share with Mr. Patterson. With his permission, I would be more than willing to do some improvements on the swell to reduce any future drainage issues at all. Even though there are dense woods and trees dividing our property, I would be more than happy to plant multiple Leland cypresses or something comparable to the hilltop behind the barn to reduce any site issues he might have. Not having a basement means we need somewhere for storage to keep multiple things, including our tractor, implements, lawnmower and attachments, side-by-side buggy, my work trailer and tools, and we also currently are renting a storage unit with things we have nowhere to keep them. The proposed location works best with the existing driveway, grading, utilities, and layout for our property. Moving the barn further from Mr. Patterson's property line would create additional site challenges and costs without providing a meaningful benefit to Mr. Patterson's or neighboring properties. Although we do live on 6 acres, from a drainage and visual perspective, this is the ideal location for the barn. The only other location that would satisfy the 100-foot setback without removing multiple aged trees would be closer to the house where the septic tank and field lines are ran. Plus, this location would put the barn in view of the Macklin Road traffic. Prior to the pad being poured, we were aware of a previous structure measuring roughly 30 by 55 that was in the current location of the new slab. This is why we chose to have the pad poured at this location. Yes, I did have the pad poured without obtaining the necessary permits. I had no intentions of ill will towards Mr. Patterson or any of the other neighbors. Like Mr. Patterson said before, it wasn't long after we moved in before the pad was poured. That was poor judgment on my behalf. I was aware that I did need a permit. However, my excitement got the best of me before the process got started. Since that point of getting notice from the county, I have been in compliance with all necessary permits, and I've had several site visits from Mr. Saeed from the County Erosion Department regarding Mr. Patterson's concerns. Since this process started, I've installed the appropriate BMPs, had a grader come in to clean up the site as permitted. I've seeded, blown hay, and installed several straw blankets to prevent any further erosion. I did go and speak with Mr. Patterson early this morning to try to work something out. From my understanding, his main concerns are water runoff and issues and the barn being too close to his property. From the report received from Ms. Shorter, this does show that the pad placement has no negative effect on his pond. His comment about the location was, I don't want to see any ugly-ass barn when I pull into my driveway. So as far as the location of the slab, when I went to the zoning department to get the necessary permits, they told me the pad was 86 feet from the property line and it needed to be 100 feet. So they told me I would need to apply for a 14-foot variance. In closing, the proposed barn is an accessory structure building for personal use and is consistent with the rural residential character of the area. I humbly and respectfully ask for your approval of this variance because it allows a reasonable placement of the barn while still preserving a substantial distance from our neighbors, giving them plenty of privacy with a buffer from the woods. And that's all I have.
Thank you so much. You have 17 seconds left.
Yeah, well, we practiced.
Good job. Well, thank you so much. I think we have opposition. If that concludes your testimony, we'll hear from your opposition at this time.
Okay.
In opposition, when you come up, if you will also identify yourself, and you also have a collective total of 10 minutes between the two of you.
Good. Good afternoon. My name is Don Patterson. I was here last time. I live at 1900 Mackland Road, bordering the Taylor's property to the north. In the last 2 weeks, there's been a lot of work going on at the building site. They regraded a large area around the slab, removed several trees, and added more erosion control measures. Unfortunately, soon after completing the work, we had a large rainstorm that perfectly illustrated what I was trying to convey in the last hearing. You can clearly see from these before and after photos that the water flow is now being focused and diverted around this huge concrete slab to the east side, directly downhill to my property and continually adding sediment and debris to my pond. You can also see that it knocked down 3 separate layers of silt fence and washed most of the straw matting down the hill due to the extreme volume of water. After this photo was taken, they repaired the silt fence and even added a 4th layer. Here's the aftermath of a 10-minute rainstorm this past Sunday. The water and mud easily made it past all 4 layers. I have video of this at the end if there's time. You can also see that the ground was sloped in this direction on purpose. All the runoff from the neighboring property at 1828 Mackland Road also flows into the same area through a culvert under the driveway. So now all the runoff from both properties are being focused in one small area. There is a swale that runs along the property line on my side, which is meant to carry the water off to the west and away from the pond. Since the construction started, it has eroded away directly below the slab, allowing almost all the runoff to go straight down the hill into the pond. This blatantly defies Georgia common law, which says that an uphill property owner cannot deliberately redirect and focus water runoff onto a downhill property other than what would occur naturally. As I stated in the last hearing, having a natural slope and permeable ground always allowed the runoff to dissipate without causing any damage, but that's not the case anymore. I've lived on this property for over 20 years and never experienced these issues until this unpermitted construction started back in February. This is one of the reasons why the 100-foot setback is so important in this situation. I also want to address a few points I made in the last hearing that were brought into question. First being the exact location of the slab. I had stated that the slab was around 40 feet from the property line, while Mr. Taylor stated when asked directly that no part of the slab was closer than 86 feet to the property line. I recently had a certified survey of my property done and also had them precisely locate the slab's location in relation to the property line. And it is exactly 42.2 feet. Mr. Taylor knew all along that it was much closer than 86 feet, and I know this because here's a site map he submitted with his building permit application back in March of this year after he was shut down by the county. You can see that he wrote in a dimension of 50 feet from the line. Also, this survey that he's used for the permit and variance applications is an old survey from 2017, and none of the buildings on it exist anymore. The house on this survey was built in 1950 and torn down in 2018. The building labeled garage was actually a pole barn, also built in the 50s and torn down in 2017. Here's a simple tracing comparing the 2 surveys, and you can clearly see the old barn was in a completely different location than the new slab, even though Mr. Taylor claimed there was a building on this location previously. I have copies of both surveys for you to compare for yourselves. Here are some aerial photos from the Cobb County website over the years. Here it is in 2019, right after the current house was built. As you can see, there are no other buildings on the property. As we move along to 2024, you can see where the previous owner had tried to build a pole barn over 2 shipping containers. This was immediately stopped by Cobb County, and he was forced to remove everything, as you can see on the 2025 and 2026 photos. That's after everything was removed before the Taylors purchased it. The ground in this location never had any permanent foundation, only some gravel and fill dirt. A precedent has already been established by the county that this site was not suitable to build on for multiple reasons. Also, in the last hearing, I had referred to Mr. Taylor as a licensed contractor, and he denied having a contractor's license. The reason I said he was a licensed contractor is that he described himself as such on his building permit application from March of this year. Here's a screenshot from the application, and you can see that he listed himself as a licensed professional and even provided a builder's license number, which I've since found to be invalid. There is, however, an occupation license that is associated with his business. I'm pointing all this out to show a history of deceptive behavior, starting with deliberately building without any permits. On the subject of his permit application, the proposed building would have 12-foot tall walls with corrugated metal siding and what looks to be a 612 pitch roof, creating a nearly 20-foot tall industrial-style building in a residential zone property. I brought copies of the permit application for your review if needed also. I have yet to hear a legitimate reason given why there's no other suitable spot for the structure that meets zoning requirements, or if it has even been thoroughly considered, which is the standard for granting a variance. The only reasons given seems to be that it's just the spot where they want to put it because it's at the back of their property and far away from their own house. The problem is that the back of their property is the front of mine, and they want to put a house-sized, commercial-style building right at the entrance to my property. As I've stated before, there are multiple areas on the property that would easily meet all zoning requirements and alleviate much of the runoff issues. As a 47-year resident of Cobb County, I'm once again urging the board to uphold Cobb's longstanding zoning rules, which we all are aware of when buying property, and not reward someone that's deliberately ignored those rules. And now this is the video from last Sunday. This is with 4 layers of silt fence. That was the swale that's been referred to. This is where it's eroded away and going down, straight down the hill to my property. And you can see it's coming directly from around the side of the slab. There was never any complaint about the slab itself running off onto the property. It's diverting the water around it. This is after the rain stopped and only a 10-minute rainstorm. One more thing I'd like to touch on. In the last hearing, I stated the slab was probably not code compliant due to the lack of footings. Mr. Taylor claimed that there are 24-inch deep footings around the perimeter. I made my statement from what I personally witnessed when the slab was graded and poured, and going by my nearly 40 years of experience in the construction business. It was suggested by the board that the slab should be looked at by an engineer due to the fact that no inspections had been done to any of the work, but I have not heard any follow-up to that. That was the slab when it was being graded. It's pretty obvious to a trained eye that there's no footings dug there. That's all I have, I think.
You do have 55 seconds, excuse me, left. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us?
I guess I'd just like to add that Mr. Taylor showed up at my property this morning about 3 hours ago for the first time I've ever spoken to him in my life. So 6 months of this, and that was the first contact ever made, so for what it's worth.
Okay. If that concludes your testimony, I will turn this over to our District 1 Commissioner, Commissioner Berloin, to lead our discussion. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Let me start with you, Mr. Patterson. So those photographs you began with today When did you take those photographs?
Which ones? The ones of
The ones you started your
grading?
presentation with this afternoon?
one was, sorry,
Not the historical photographs, the,
right. This one, that was previous, that was, oh, I'm sorry. That one was before the recent work started. Then the next one, that's when they started regrading it before we got any rain.
so when was this regrading approximately?
About 2 weeks ago it started.
Okay. Well,
July 31st was when that was taken.
all right. So tell me about the conditions. I mean, this variance first was filed for in like March of this year, sometime earlier in the spring. Tell me what things were like, not just in the last 2 weeks, but say in May of this year.
Okay.
Was the same kind of runoff that you were indicating to us in the visual presentation you made today?
Pretty much. We kind of had a little dry spell, so it wasn't as bad. And also, from that first picture, you could see that weeds had kind of grown over the dirt, so that helped a little bit. But pretty much the last 6 months, any kind of significant rain causes the same kind of runoff. Like I said before, the east side of the slab is the worst possible spot because that's the area that collects all the water from 2 different properties.
If anyone else has questions of the opposition?
No questions for the oppositions? Okay, you can have a seat.
Thank you. Let me go to the county next, to ComDev. John, assuming that we conclude that the slab in question is really only 42 or 43 feet at its closest point to the property line, are we authorized to even proceed on this variance request today? Or given the fact apparently the request initially was to be within 86 feet rather than 40-something?
Yeah, if the variance board wanted to consider this, we would need to hold this, re-advertise it correctly. And I believe last month, one of the things that you directed the applicant to do was to hire a surveyor to check the slab adjacent to all property lines. I don't know if that's been done yet.
So we didn't receive one from the applicant, correct?
Correct.
But we did receive a survey or survey information from the opposition, and I'll take that as correct, and it seems to me to be substantially correct. So, yeah, so we really couldn't proceed to grant a variance allowing this to be any closer to the property line than 86 feet at this time, correct? Okay, thank you. Okay. So with that, I guess I'll move back to the, let me go to stormwater next, briefly.
Andrew Heath, Cobb Stormwater Management.
Okay. So a couple of things. You went out there. Why don't you just tell us your observations?
Yeah, I made an exhibit, if you want to. I went out to the property Monday, I believe it was, and met with Mr. Taylor and walked over the site to look at some issues as it relates to stormwater management. Mr. Taylor had also retained a separate engineer to give an opinion that you heard there a few minutes ago. And essentially, a lot of the opinion of the engineer previously is probably true. Cobb Stormwater Management has a couple of thresholds. One is, are you building more than 5,000 square feet of impervious area at one time? And this building's about 2,400 square feet, I believe it was said. Plus, there'd be some gravel added to that. So I think they're going to be basically right at that 5,000. So they probably would be exempt from that standard. And the site overall is a pretty large site. And as I recall computing it, I think their total impervious area, including the new garage building, assuming that's approved would be something in the neighborhood of like 6 or 7%. So they would be relatively low on their total impervious area. So our traditional thresholds for like stormwater management requiring them to do something special on site, he would be exempt from that. But at the previous meeting, I think was in June, when Mr. Patterson had spoken, who's Mr. Patterson's the property owner to the north, who spoke a moment ago for the opposition who owns the lake. I was especially looking at, when I went to the site, what are the conditions there on the site and what is leading, to sediment loss into Mr. Patterson's lake. And so this exhibit that I made is a little bit busy and kind of amateurish, but sort of to give the idea is that orange square there sort of in the middle is approximately where the new building is going to be located. And that greenish area around it is the area that's now disturbed property. So one of the things that I stressed to Mr. Taylor is that we want to get that disturbed area stabilized as quickly as we can. We want to get grass on that, get that area stabilized so it's not bare soil. And as it is right now, the blue arrows are depicting that there is some other property to the east where an adjacent homeowner is doing some work. That's that kind of reddish area kind of off to the right. And there is runoff that comes down, follows the path of those blue arrows, goes through that little red pipe under the driveway and continues around behind the site where Mr. Taylor is constructing the shed, garage, accessory structure. One thing that I noticed is that there's a little kind of a ditch, and you could see that in the video that Mr. Patterson had, that's along that rear property line that separates Mr. Taylor's property from Mr. Patterson's property. And that ditch kind of channelizes the water, and it's not really a very shallow ditch, a very deep ditch. It's just a few inches deep. But in that video, you could see it kind of contains the runoff past the building site. But when it gets down in that area where you can see where the little red rectangle and the red arrows are, the berm that's kind of confining that water sort of goes away, and some of the water, as Mr. Patterson's video showed, you can see some of it turns off and goes down toward the lake, and then it appears that some of it also just continues on down in sort of the remnants of the swale on down to would be like the left in this exhibit. So a few things that could be done is, that Mr. Taylor has entirely in his prerogative to do would be to, on the exposed soil around where the building is, to get that stabilized as quickly as you can, get that grassed. And in fact, some of that area, I think to speed that up, could actually just be sodded so that you can leapfrog over the need for the seed to grow and kind of speed that process up a little bit. And I noted in walking over the property that those orangish areas, areas shown on the site plan are areas where there's already some existing concentrated flow that don't really have a lot to do with the building per se. They're just areas where those areas are in largely areas that are under tree growth or they're in kind of wooded areas, but there is some concentrated flow. And so in those areas, there's a little bit of erosion occurring there. So I believe that there could be some stone placed in those areas to better armor that and try to control erosion there. Now, another potential solution would be that portion of the berm that's kind of been sort of eroded or sort of faded away over time that's on Mr. Patterson's property. And of course, Mr. Patterson would have to agree to this, but would be to have that berm sort of reconstructed so that that water that you saw in the video could no longer turn and go down into the lake. It would have to be confined and continue on to the left on down toward where the stream is. So there's some options there. The berm that I spoke about that's on Mr. Patterson's property that could be supplemented, that would of course have to require Mr. Patterson's approval for the applicant to do some work there. But even if Mr. Patterson didn't consent to that, there's definitely improvement that Mr. Taylor could make on his property. And we discussed that. And Mr. Taylor seemed very open to that he was willing to do whatever needed to be done to get that area stabilized and to try to accomplish that. So that's kind of my take on the properties.
Okay, next question. Assuming the will of the board was to hold this, is it possible to allow some portion of the slab to be used for the purpose intended without creating a nuisance condition relative to the neighboring property?
I think he will be able to use the slab, like I say, as long as we get on those other issues and address the, disturbed area, armor those areas where there's already erosion occurring and try to basically get that erosion stabilized and get vegetation established there as quickly as we can. Yeah, I think he could do it.
Okay, and can you, do you happen to know the location of the septic field relative to this?
That I do not.
You do, okay. And about how far do you believe, or would you estimate the nearest corner of the slab to be to the property line?
When I measure in GIS, I'm coming up with a number around 40 feet.
Okay.
And I saw on the survey that was presented earlier, 42, so that seems to be kind of in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right. So my question to the board is, before I make a motion, is it the will of the board that we hold this and consider whether it's possible that we could allow some other form, some variance to take place and use all or some portion of the slab? I guess our choices at this point are either to hold or to deny. So throwing that open to you folks for comment.
Any other comments? Commissioner Swanson?
I think one of the requests that we made was that slab be looked at to see if there's the sufficient footings for this type of a building, which I believe hasn't been done. So I think that if you consider holding it, that's one of the issues that was brought up that needs to be addressed. This will be the second time that you've brought it up, or that has been brought up in this hearing. And then I think that the two should meet again to talk about the areas that Mr. Heath brought up with regards to the sodding and putting in stone or rocks to prevent some of this coming off that property and going into the lake. And I think if you do decide to hold it, that I'd like to have like a picture of what the lake looks like previous to now, to when the next, if you do hold it to the next hearing, just to see, because we've had a significant amount of rain. Close to that 100-year flood issues, just to see if this is impacting because of the significance of the rain, and hopefully we're having less of it, and to see how it impacts after we haven't had so much rain. That's just my opinion.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah.
I'm inclined to concur with Commissioner Swanson.
Yeah. Since we're talking about erosion and water flow, I would like to see a more detailed, robust water management plan on that property, so that how there's a way to divert the water to a more appropriate location to limit the erosion.
Okay. John, is this something where we could have somebody from the county inspect that slab?
Since the slab was already poured, the county could not inspect it. He's got to hire an engineer to do some tests on it, and then the engineer's got to certify that's built to a building code.
Okay. Well, let me ask the applicant then, before we waste our time. So we had asked last time for certain things that we didn't get. Are you willing to retain an engineer to inspect and provide a certification regarding the sufficiency of the footings for the slab and the slab?
Yes, sir.
Before we proceed at all?
Yes.
And you do understand that if we even consider this request further, we're going to require a very detailed water management plan to make sure that there's no increased stormwater diverted to your neighbor's pond or property?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Anything else we need to require at this time?
I don't know that 30 days will be enough time, though. So I
Probably
would-
isn't. So I guess we'll put this on a 60-day hold. Does he also need to re-advertise this, given the,
Yes, and the date's going to be October 14th
thank you.
for 60 days. So on my list, I got hire an engineer to inspect the slab. What else do you want him to do? Probably get a revised survey that shows the exact slab setback? Okay.
I'm actually comfortable with the survey. The information that was placed in the record.
Okay, so it's 42 feet right now.
Okay.
I'd like to include that erosion control. I'd like to see included the erosion control plan.
You know,
Since-
I think we would ask, and I guess all this clerk's notes, because technically this is just, I think we've been coached by council that this is just a hold. But I think what we would need is for that to go to stormwater within about 45 days from today, so stormwater could review it before the hearing in about 60 days. It's kind of incumbent on you to bring all the stuff forward, or we're just going to deny it.
No, I got it.
Is I think where we're heading here, okay?
All right, I got it.
Okay.
You can have a seat for me. Now that we have the clerk's notes, would you mind making a motion for us, Commissioner Blouin?
Yeah, motion to hold for 60 days.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Russell. Call to question. And V67 is held for 60 days by a vote of 4-0. Next case, Mr. Peterson. Next
Okay,
case,
and
Mr. Peterson.
I think it's important for Mr. Patterson, Mr. Taylor to know that even if you guys hold this for 60 days, he does all these things, there's no guarantee it's going to be approved. Okay. All right. Next case is variance case V70, Juan C. Garcia and Mara Garcia. Request a variance to, one, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is an existing approximately 368 square foot pergola, required 30 feet to 0 feet, adjacent to the eastern and southern property lines. And number two, increase the maximum impervious coverage, required 45% to 55% in land lot 233 of the 17th district. The property is located on the east side of Sanibel Lane, east of Gray Road. The applicant is present. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case of V70? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Would the applicant please come forward and be sworn in?
Good afternoon. If you both will identify yourself by telling us your name, and then you both have a total of 10 minutes.
My name is Mara Garcia.
Juan Carlos Garcia.
Well, we really don't have anything else to say than last time. So, we were just waiting for the inspector to come in and do some measurements. So we were just waiting for the response.
If you could, with the time that you have remaining, just kind of give us a synopsis or a summary of what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Just remind us again of your variance case, please.
Okay, so we built a pergola in the backyard, which we did not obtain a permit. We did not know that we needed a permit because it was just a pergola. The landscapers that built it for us say, oh, you don't need a permit, you don't live in an HOA, so whatever. So we believe them. We got it constructed, and then the neighbor next door put the complaint that it was too big, that it was over her property line, and that was about it.
Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us since?
Well, since the last time, we reduced the pergola a little bit because she says that we was on her property line. So I reduced like 8 inches, so I'm away from her line, and everything that she told us that we have to do, we did. So we fixed all the problems, so I guess that's why she's not here, since we fixed everything that it was bother her.
We also replaced a piece of grass. We removed a fence door that we put in between, which she had agreed with, but she changed her mind and she said removed it, so we removed it. She did ask for us to reimburse her $500 for 3 trees that he cut, and that's the last thing we heard. Last time she was here, she said that she was going to sue us, but we never heard anything from anybody.
Okay. Does that conclude your testimony? Because you have 7 minutes and 57 seconds remaining.
No, that's it.
Okay, if you guys can remain, because there is an opposition here, we'll close the public hearing for this. This does reside in my district, so I will lead the discussion. Just have a few questions. I know that there was heavy opposition here last time. She had a lot of things that were of concerns to her, and she's not here today in opposition. And you said that you were able to satisfy her concerns, even with the $500 that she asked for. Did you remit that to her?
We have not given it to her because we said we have no problem giving you that. Even though originally she said that she paid $75 for each one, we were like, that's fine, for the inconvenience or whatever. But we told her that we just needed a paper where she is agreeing that that's what she wanted. But like I said, we didn't hear anything from her afterwards.
Yes, because she changed her mind all the time. Like, she said, you can do it, and then a couple of days later, she says, I don't want it. And I say, well, can I build this door? She said, that's fine. And 3 days later, she said, no, I don't want it. So she keep doing and doing and doing it. So when I told her, I'll give you the $500, I just need everything in paper so we can get approval, because everything was verbal. We always, because I've been living with 20 years next to her. We never have this problem. So now she wants the money. I said, well, give me a piece of paper and we settle. But
And
Okay.
also, when she asked him, remove the door or the fence or whatever, he was removing it, and she said, oh, you cannot be in my property. He said, well, you wanted me to remove it, so I have to be here and remove it. Oh, okay. And then, like, minutes later, she was like, oh, what are you doing in my property? So he was like, I don't know. So we haven't paid her that because we're just waiting for her to give us a paper.
Got it.
Or,
All right. Does anyone else have any questions of the applicant? Okay, you guys can have a seat. I think I've heard enough. Have you guys heard enough as well? All right, have a seat for me, please.
Thank you.
I am prepared to make a motion. I love the fact that the pergola was reduced so that it does mediate some of the neighbor's issues. The neighbor is not here, and we've not received any additional comments or concerns regarding it. So with that being said, my motion is to approve V70 with staff comments and conditions, no commercial or residential usage. And that's my motion for V70. Is there a second? Oh, sorry, John. You have something?
Madam Chair, can you also add a condition or stipulation that states that the applicant will permit the structure and have it inspected by development inspections?
Absolutely. So let me, do I need to restate it, or do you have that in addition to? You're good? You need me to restate it? Okay. So my motion is to approve V70 with staff comments, no commercial residential use, and also for the structure to be inspected by county staff. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Russell. Call to question. And it passes 4-0. V70 is approved. Next case, Mr. Peterson.
Thank you. Hey, Cameron, can you have them hold on for a second before they leave? Okay, thanks. All right, next case is variance case V87, Alfredo Lopez Vera. Request a variance to, 1, allow an accessory structure, which is an existing 40-square-foot chicken coop to be located on the side of the principal building. Number 2, allow an accessory structure, which is an existing 72-square-foot zip-line wood steps to be located on the side of the principal building. 3, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is an existing 40-square-foot chicken coop from required 25 feet to 1 foot adjacent to the western property line. Number 4, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is an existing 272-square-foot chicken coop from required 25 feet to 2 feet adjacent to the western property line. 5, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is an 812 square foot above-ground pool with a wood deck from required 100 feet to 70 feet adjacent to the eastern property line and 47 feet adjacent to the western property line. Number 6, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is an existing 1,500 square foot shed from required 100 feet to 59 feet adjacent to the western property line, 10 feet adjacent to the northern property line, and 9 feet adjacent to the eastern property line. And number 7, allow access and maneuvering on a non-hard surface, which is gravel, in land lots 125 and 164 of the 17th district. The property is located on the northeast side of Harris Road, north of Sandhurst Way. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V87? Okay, let the record show there's no one opposed. Would the applicant please come forward to be sworn in?
Good afternoon. If you will state your name for the record and begin your presentation, you have 10 minutes.
Brenda Barahona. So I brought all the information that you guys asked me for. I took a lot of pictures, so I'm prepared this time. I did take it on my phone. So I'm going to first show you the pictures of the machines. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm going to show you the pictures of the machines that we have there and the proof that they're in compliance with what the weight limit was. So this is the first one. That's a skid steer, and I'm sorry. And the weight is 1,350 kilograms, which in pounds is 2,976. This is the other one. It's a compact, what is it? Compact excavator. And I just put all the information with the serial number on there, and it's 5,780. So those are the two machines that we have stored back there, and that's what my dad was using to fix the land. So this is what it looks like now. We removed absolutely everything, including the racks that were there. Because
I'm not able to hear you clearly, unfortunately.
Okay.
Put the mic a little bit closer to you and then, so we can hear.
Okay. So we removed everything, including the racks that were there. We just didn't want to even leave the racks just in case that was an issue too. So we removed everything, and I also took pictures of the shed with in several angles so you could see what we see as soon as we go back there. So that's the closest to where Mr. Patrick's lot is. It's just wood. It's heavily wooded. And then that's another one, I'm sorry. And then that's on the other side. That's on the left-hand side, looking right at the building. We don't always park that truck there because usually it's at the shop, but I wanted you guys to see what sometimes we park back there. And these pictures as well, I just want to mention that these pictures were taken yesterday, so they're current. This is another one. This is where I was letting you guys know that we are putting all the chicken feed and stuff like that right here, this one here. As soon as we have everything enclosed, that's gonna be gone. So it's just gonna be the pure shed that we're gonna be using. This is how it looks like from the porch. That's the whole property right there. And then right there, that's what it looks like right now. These are all taken yesterday. And today, I did take a picture today as well because my dad has his truck back there. So that's his truck usually that's the one that's always back there. Because it's lifted, it doesn't fit in our garage. And our driveway is for like one car only, so that's what he keeps back there right now. You guys also wanted to see proof that I spoke to all of my neighbors? Yes. And I got these straight from the website, from you guys' website. These are all the signatures that I got. And then the ones that I wasn't able to speak to directly, this is the certified mails that I sent to them. And yeah, I think that was it. Oh, I also submitted that picture to the county whenever I was applying for the variance. That's when it was like all clear. We had barely done it. Yeah, I think that is it. Hopefully that is, sorry. Yeah, so we have tried to make everything as clear as possible with the neighbor as well, just so, you know, everything is strictly residential and we don't have absolutely nothing there that can be considered commercial. And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, you do have 6 minutes and 10 seconds later, 10 minutes and 6 seconds left, rather, if you wanted to continue to present anything to us.
Actually, yes. You guys asked for a rendering as well. I forgot to show that to you guys. So this here is what our architect gave us. That's not. I don't think that looks anything similar to what we're gonna do. So I just went on ChatGPT and designed it myself. This is how exactly we wanted it to look. I want to make sure that it blends in with the whole wood area and all that stuff. So that's how we wanted it to look. And then I also wanted to show you guys, this is like extra, but we did get an engineer letter, and we got this engineer letter when we had first done it. I got the engineer straight from the community development's website as well, because it has a show of third parties approved engineers. We made sure we got it there and make sure that everything was good with the shed and everything. So that's what he had to say, that everything's good, footings are good, and everything is fine. I don't know if you guys can read it or make it bigger. And yeah, I think that was it. I don't think I have anything else more to say.
First of all, good job.
Thank you.
Very, very good. You definitely delivered on everything that we asked you to since last meeting, so thank you for providing that information. This does reside in my district. I'll lead the discussion, but I'll start with my fellow commissioners first to see if they have anything, and then I'll go. Anything? No? Okay. Well, actually, you can have a seat.
Okay, thank you.
Again, thank you for providing that context. The opposition that was here is not. There is an opposition today. I feel like I've seen enough to make a motion. I make a motion to approve V87 with staff comments, no commercial residential usage, and I think that takes care of, yeah, no residential and commercial usage. And the structure to be permitted and inspected by county staff. Oh, go ahead.
Second, can I just ask John a question?
Sure.
Yeah, John, when we approve a chicken coop, it goes without saying that we're not approving roosters. Is that correct?
Correct.
There's sexual discrimination when it comes to the kind of fowl we allow.
We do not allow roosters.
There you go. Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion for approval and a second by Commissioner Boulogne. Call to question. V87 passes 4-0. Next case, Mr. Peterson.
Okay, variance case V97, Yolanda Carrillo requests a variance to 1, reduce the setbacks for an accessory structure, which is a proposed 512 square foot covered patio from required 30 feet to 4 feet adjacent to the northern and western property lines. And number 2, reduce the setbacks for an uncovered deck from required 5 feet to 0 feet adjacent to the northern property line in land lot 75 of the 1st District. The property is located on the north side of High Point Drive, south of Ravenwood Drive. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V97? Okay, let the record show there's one person opposed. All those who would like to address the board, either for or against, please come forward to be sworn in.
Good afternoon. If you will provide us your name, and you have 10 minutes collectively.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Liz Carrillo. This is my mom.
Yolanda Carrillo.
We're here because just like a recap, was the side driveway. It wasn't so much the gazebo that we're building. I think it was, from my understanding, it was a lot. So one of them was the side driveway that was built, and I think they were going to come out. I had called them twice, but I didn't get a response, so I'm not sure if they ended up coming out and just kind of measuring between that and the stream creek that we have on the side. So I didn't know if they were able to come out, or I was a little confused about that. Okay, keep going. I forgot I have 10 minutes.
You do. You have 9 minutes and 10 seconds left. Go ahead.
Just again with the gazebo that we're building, it's already an existing structure, which is the deck that was really terrible. And I'm actually glad that my neighbor that is here has really good pictures showing. I don't know if you let me borrow them again, but it's showing how terrible it is back there. It's falling apart. So the gazebo is just going to help with the water and sun and ice and just all of the weather elements to protect the deck. And it's really expensive to replace the entire deck, which is what we need to do. But I want to protect it because the last time I was here, I let you guys know that the trees had died. And so when we removed the trees, it just completely messed up the entire deck. And so before I invest any more money on the deck to repair it, I'd like to cover it to make sure that it's long lasting. That was pretty much. Oh, and I think he had mentioned that I have an Airbnb, but I live there, so it's not like I rent my entire home for that. So I think he had mentioned he had a problem with that. But he's not my direct neighbor. I had my 4 neighbors all signed that they were okay with going back to the gazebo, that they were okay with the gazebo in the back. He's like 2 houses or a house down, and you can't see the gazebo from his house. As he showed last time that we were here, he showed a picture from his property to my property, and you couldn't see anything. You just barely saw the structure. But that would be it for my 10 minutes.
Thank you so much. Was there opposition here?
Yeah.
There is opposition. Okay. If you've yielded your time, you can have a seat, and we'll hear from opposition.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. If you will introduce yourself, and you have 10 minutes.
My name's David Duran. I am 2 doors down from this property. Interesting, the tax records indicate that the applicant does not live at this property. They have a different address. But we'll let that go. There were a number of things that the applicant was addressing, and I'm not sure. I've never seen a building permit posted on this property at all. I am a residential developer, so I'm fairly familiar with what's going to happen or what is supposed to happen. There's not been a building permit. I don't know if there was a stop work order issued. That was also, if there was one, it was not displayed. The stream buffer issue is there is a running water stream, state stream. Stream buffers are 25 feet from vested vegetation. That's what she referred to earlier. Certainly not 25 feet. So that's the driveway portion of it. I am curious what Stormwater has to say about the 35% impervious surface because again, there's a significant portion of that is stamped concrete in the back, along with the roof and the various driveways that have been installed there. Also, there was the easement violation where the structure was built on top of a sewer easement, so water needs to address that as well. It is 4 feet is a generous measurement to be off the property line. I can show the pictures if we want to see it again. I believe it's very obvious from my back deck to see this large structure, which is not part of what the neighborhood is like. This neighborhood has a covenants and bylaws that prohibit short-term rentals. That would be something that the HOA board, I guess, will have to address. It has not been requested of the board to do this thing. We have had people come into our neighborhood, into my house, into my driveway, looking for this Airbnb, which is a little bit frustrating, and to come out the front door and see people wandering around in my backyard looking for an Airbnb. It has been shown to reduce property values with short-term rentals in the neighborhood 2 doors down. So I have a very big concern about stormwater, the impervious surface, also the stream buffers. Reducing an offset from 30 feet to 4 feet is very dramatic. This is a very large structure. Again, I can show pictures if we want to see it, that it is plainly obvious from my back deck that I can see this. But again, when you have an Airbnb with a large stamped concrete patio and now a pavilion, and there's a fireplace in the middle of it too, it does look like an entertainment venue. So there's just a plethora of items that are concerning. HOA's not been involved, and again, direct violation of covenants and bylaws of the HOA, which I don't suspect is the commissioner's issue. It might be a civil matter, but it is totally out of character with the rest of the residential neighborhood. And again, I have tax records that indicate that the resident does not live at this, or the applicant does not live at this residence. So it is, yes, the neighbors, at least on one side, I spoke with her and she said it was okay with her. I don't think she was fully aware of the situation based on my conversation with her. I don't know the neighbors on the other side. Is there anything I can answer? I'm curious, though, about was there a building permit issued? Was there a stop work order submitted? What does stormwater say about impervious surface? What about all the offsets that are being violated and the encroachment on the sewer easement?
Okay, does that conclude your testimony?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, because you do have 5 minutes remaining.
Well, I mean, can we discuss these variants?
Unfortunately, you're not able to question staff. We can.
All right,
But you're
let's see if
able
there's
to
any-
share with us for the next 5 minutes anything
Okay.
else that you would like to.
All right, so my understanding is from Cobb County Enforcement that even though there may be a resident in there, if it is an Airbnb, it needs to be licensed. It is still listed as an Airbnb, and we do see various license plates out of state or out of county license plates there. So it just is out of character. I've been a resident of that neighborhood for 30 years. And this changes the character when we have short-term rentals, just a couple of doors down, people that aren't necessarily wanting to keep the same flavor of the neighborhood. They're short-term, they're in, they're out. There's potential for all sorts of entertainment in the backyard. I know that there's noise ordinances that need to be kept, and there hasn't been a problem there. But it is just traffic that is non-residential, that this really isn't a commercial neighborhood. It should be more residential. And again, bylaws and covenants say that it needs to be. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. This does reside in my district, so I'll leave the discussion. I do want to talk with, let's start with Mr. Peterson, per the opposition's questions that he raised regarding property line, setbacks, et cetera. Can you talk a little bit about what he just talked to?
The survey that the applicant submitted, it shows the property lines and it shows the setbacks. It seems like most of the opposition's statements had to do with the Airbnb part of this property. And the Airbnb part is not subject to jurisdiction of this board.
Yeah.
It's actually regulated by our business license division, so it's not even a zoning function.
Yes.
So if there's an issue with Airbnb, it needs to be brought to the attention of the business license folks.
Understood. Yeah, that wasn't part of what I was considering. Just with regards to the impervious, I'll talk to Mr. Heath about that with stormwater, but did you have any other concerns, or did staff have any other concerns regarding this variance that you?
No, and according to stormwater comments, they're under 35% impervious, which is the code.
Okay, very good. All righty. Some of the challenges that I had, I think, were regarding the neighbor next door and being on the property line. Can the applicant come up real quick? I just want to ask a couple of questions regarding, and I'm hoping I'm not confusing you with someone else. It has been a long day.
No, it's not in the property line.
It's not on the property line. You
No,
guys are
ma'am.
not having any issues with property line?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right. And what you're simply asking us to is to approve so that you can build the roof to your patio? Is that what you're asking for?
Yes, for the deck, because like I mentioned before, it was fine, but when those trees died, I paid thousands of dollars to get all of those removed, and unfortunately, it just warped the entire deck. And they quoted me right now $30,000? Yes. $30,000 to replace my deck, so, and that's, I'm willing to upkeep the neighborhood, upkeep the house. I do a very good job with that. I have cleaners, I have lawn people that come to my house. I really like to keep my house nice and clean and safe, and that's very unsafe back there. So I do need to completely redo that deck.
Okay, all right. Just have a seat for me. I think I'm prepared to make a motion.
Can I ask?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, not, you can sit.
Oh, not
Thank
me.
you.
Okay.
I think that the other situation that the opposition stated is that the structure's on the sewer easement. So I think that it would be beneficial to have Chris Duggan from sewer to come up to discuss that. And then after that, to have Andrew Heath come and talk about the water issues as well with regards to the stream buffer. So those are the two issues that came from
That were identified.
opposition that I think is very important for us to hear.
Sure.
So,
Can we start? Yes, thank you.
Chris Duggan, Cobb Water System.
hi. So my understanding is that at the last hearing, we had asked them to reach out to both you and to Water. So did they reach out to you with regards to this being the reduction where this structure is on the sewer easement?
So-
And what your concerns are about that?
The structure does encroach into the sewer easement, so the proposed pergola would as well, which is a code violation. The property owner, as far as I'm aware, has not reached out to me about that matter.
So how, on the sewer easement, since the structure is encroaching, how your sewer easement, can you explain your sewer easement? Because you have so much from the sewer, and then you have an additional, so how close are they to the sewer easement?
So the sewer easement is 20 feet wide. The pipe is actually on the property line, so the sewer easement extends 10 feet into the applicant's property. And then our code also requires structures to be at least 2 feet off of that easement. So there's basically 12 feet off of their property line that they would have to stay outside of. And the existing deck and the proposed pergola encroach into that sewer easement. I think it's 4 feet off the property line. Is that right, John?
Pardon me?
4 feet off the property line, is that what the structure is?
Yes.
It should be more than that.
Okay, so yeah, it does encroach into the sewer easement itself.
And so historically, we have not allowed structures that are encroaching that far into a sewer easement because of the fact that if there is an issue with the sewer, you would have to come in and remove structures.
Yeah, it does inhibit our ability to access and maintain the sewer system, so our code doesn't allow structures within the easements, and when they are in the easements, it is a problem for us.
Okay. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any more questions on that? So then, thank you. And then, Mr. Heath?
You sure? Okay.
Hello, Andrew Heath, Cobb Stormwater Management.
Again, did the applicant reach out to you with regards to, it's okay. Did the applicant reach out to you with regards to the driveway being in the stream buffer, 25 feet in the stream buffer? Did they reach out to you to ask about that and what the issues are, the requirement is?
I have not talked with them that I recall, and the variance, I noticed looking at it in GIS, the variance is for that patio and structure covering that, which is on that back corner. It appears from GIS that the driveway was added sometime more recently, that one that goes around to the right. And so it that I can see wasn't something that was really included in the variance. If it is within the, if that drainage path creek, if it's determined to be buffered, then that would probably be more of like an enforcement action with like Frank Gibson, because I don't think they've requested something with the variance, per se for that driveway. But I think the driveway was probably added like more recently within the last few years. And then I would say one thing is in looking at that, I think in my original comments I didn't note that, but it does appear that at that back corner, as Chris Dugan was showing, there is a sanitary sewer easement, but there's also a drainage easement that kind of crosses that same corner. So it could be in that area where the drainage easement is. But to your question directly, I don't think I've had any discussions about the driveway, but they probably would have to follow up with Frank Gibson and see, determine if the stream, it merits a buffer, and, then go with him on that. Because we usually in the county, we typically defer to erosion control to make that determination.
Okay. And did you, were you able to compute with this additional structure of 512 feet and with the driveways, what the impervious surface coverage is?
Yeah, looking at, as best I can tell, what we have in GIS, they were a little bit under the 35. They were at about 33.6. But that new driveway doesn't appear to be included in that number. And the area where the roofed patio, I guess you want to call it that area, if that area was already counted as part of the impervious, then it might have been included into that 33.6. But if you add the driveway in, it's going to put them pretty close to that maximum, but they're right there at it. And honestly, I don't quite know exactly what that impervious area is because it's kind of a little bit of a moving target. So.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
I think I misspoke. This is actually in District 3.
You can have it.
No, we can share. We can share. Does anyone else have any other questions of applicant, opposition, or staff? Commissioner Russell?
Could we ask the applicant to come back up? Thank you. There was reference made to an HOA in your area. Have you applied to them for the changes you're making that they require under their bylaws?
No, for the gazebo, I didn't know that, I didn't know that I had to do that. I just was, like I said, I was just trying to cover, I was wanting to repair the deck, but I
All
did
right,
not.
thank you. I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, well, the District 3 Commissioner could not make it today, so I said I would help with this. So I would like to make a motion to deny B97 due to the fact that that it's in the stream buffer and the impervious surface is over, and it's also in, which is really important, and to remain consistent with all our variances, is the easement is on the structure of the sewer easement. The other issue is with Airbnb. We're not really allowed as a board to open up HOA regulations and rules, but if you are operating an Airbnb, you will need to get it permitted. And that's just a statement. It's not going to be as a condition. But at this point, I make my motion to deny B97.
We have a motion for denial. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Russell. Call to question. And B97 is denied 4-0. Next case, Mr. Peterson?
Yes,
Oh, I'm
ma'am.
sorry. Actually, if we can take a 10-minute comfort and convenience break, come back at 3:10, please. 3:11. Welcome back. Thank you all for your patience. We have a few more cases to get through. Mr. Peterson, if you will take it from here.
Okay, next case is variance case V101, Catch Air, request a variance to allow a temporary or permanent sign to cover more than 50% of the window glass surface of each pane glass in land lots 581 and 582 of the 16th district. The property is located on the north side of Roberts Trail, west of Chastain Meadows Parkway. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V101? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Would the applicant please come forward to be sworn in?
Good afternoon. If you will identify yourself, and you have 10 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Daniel Cheek, and I'm representing Catch Air, a family entertainment center serving children and families in the community, and we're requesting our variance that would allow us to maintain the existing window covering currently installed on our storefront. So one of the primary reasons for the original installation of the window covering years ago was for the safety and security of our guests and employees. We serve families with young children, and many of our guests expect a safe and secure environment. Over the years, there has been an increase in challenges in the surrounding area, including a noticeable homeless population and individuals frequently causing concerns for our customers and staff. And maintaining additional window coverage provides an important layer of privacy and security. Just to give one extreme example out of the many we've had over the years, there's been numerous cases where we've had people urinating and defecating on our front entrance mat and door, both during outside of business hours and during business hours. The window coverage would help prevent people from observing children inside our facility, monitoring guest activity, or creating uncomfortable situations for our staff and customers. The existing window coverage has made it a safer and more comfortable environment for the families who visit our business. The existing window covering has been in place for several years now without creating any problems. There has been no complaints regarding the visibility, aesthetics, traffic impacts, or public safety concerns associated with the coverings. The coverings are professionally installed, well-maintained, consistent with our brand and business operations, and include no advertising or wordage outside of the two small Catch Air logos on the bottom left and right-hand corners of the overall storefront. It has become part of our established appearance for our storefront and has coexisted with the neighboring businesses for years without issue. Not only our space, but numerous other tenants in the shopping center have experienced the same safety concerns and issues that we've been experiencing, and a lot of them have the same window coverings that exceed the 50% threshold, just like us. The window coverage did not become an issue until recently during a code enforcement review. The window coverage has existed in essentially the same form since for an extended period now since it was originally installed. Since a few months ago when we received the code enforcement notice indicating that amount of window coverage exceeded the current permitted percentage. Prior to that notice, we had no concerns or enforcement actions related to that coverage. Since receiving the notice, we have worked with the county to identify an appropriate path forward. We were advised that seeking a variance would be the proper process to address the situation. We have followed that guidance and are appearing before the board today in good faith. Removing any of the existing window coverage would create a hardship for our business. It would reduce privacy for the families and children inside the facility. It would increase visibility into areas where children and guests play and party. It would diminish the security benefits that the current coverings provide. We have already had customers not return to our space just due to the increased concerns in the area and the shopping center as a whole. And removing any of the other safety barriers that we have in place, we feel like would increase that negative impact on our business for customers not returning. Ms. Kim Swanson did reach out to us a week or two ago and offered some potential other methods to kind of circumnavigate the current variance, whether that be removing partial coverage. And she pointed us to one of the other tenants in the space, a spa that had removed some of their coverage and added tent. I visited that space and determined that their setup was a little bit different than ours. Their front entrance area goes into a lobby, so it's just a general congregating area, and so customers go into that versus our space where their window coverings are. It goes directly into our party rooms and also the office for our staff. So the three windows on the right side, 4 windows on the right side is our office area, so that's where we have our safe, and also the employee kind of office area, and then the 4 windows and the 3 windows on the left side are our party rooms, so they directly go and see into what would be our party room. So if we remove that or tinted that in any way, even with tinting as like the other spa place has, if someone was able to get close to it, you could still see into it. If it was a common area like the lobby, it would be something we would consider. So just like our front doors, which are kind of hard to see in this picture, those are tinted just to prevent the sun from coming in, so customers and staff could see inside and out for that safety reason. But for our office and party rooms, that's why the original windows covers were added. For this reasons and amongst others, we respectfully request the approval of the variance to allow the existing window covers to remain in place. We believe the request is reasonable, does not adversely affect the public or surrounding properties, and provides meaningful safety, privacy, and operational benefits for the families and employees we serve. And we thank you for your consideration.
You have 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining if you have more information that you'd like to share with us.
I think that's all.
Okay. All righty. Was there opposition here? There was not opposition. Okay, so you can remain. I'm sure that there are some questions that our district commissioner has for you, so we'll turn it over to Commissioner Swanson to lead the discussion.
You and I had a conversation about this area and about your concerns. We discussed it, and I have also gone out to look at the property again. I know that you're saying that there are people coming over and you didn't want them staring into the windows because there's children and that type of thing, which I understand. Again, it's my second time out. I didn't see that occurring. The concerns, I guess I'm going to have you sit down because I really have no question to ask you.
Okay.
Just a statement.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I went out a second time, and the things that I saw is, again, consistently with this catch area being completely covered from view. The concerns I have is that, yes, I'll take the statement of the owner of Catch Air that there have been people wandering around and possibly he wanted to avoid them looking into the windows. I also take it from the point of it's a safety issue in that the people inside of this space cannot see outside of this space to see if there's something that requires basically calling 911 and having an officer come to take care of issues. And I think that they would get an immediate response from our police department to come out to make sure that there isn't something that is unsafe going on in front of the building. So if you can't see in, you can't see out. And that's my concern. As far as a hardship that you can't see the building, you can't see the you can't see the signage, the Catch Air logo at the top, our advertisement at the top is very nice. It's very easy to see. So it's not, there isn't a problem going by and you can't see this business. So I don't have any questions more to ask the applicant, and I really have nothing further to add to this, and so I'd be willing to make a motion, but I'm also willing to, if anybody has any questions or concerns.
So we had a case in West Cobb with last fall with a fitness center of some kind that had put something up basically to stop people from looking in. Similar concern that I guess predominantly female clients wouldn't feel comfortable if everybody walking on the sidewalk was looking at them while they were working out. I think what we came up with was to require them to cut back everything above a certain height, if I recall correctly. And I was thinking that might be appropriate here. My suspicion is that most children who are using the facility are less than 5 feet 6 inches tall. I note that the window heights here are 80 and 85 inches. And I note that there's at least a foot, in all instances, there's at least a foot between the sidewalk level. The sidewalk is not level outside these windows relative to the heights of the windows, so it's going to take a little bit of calculating here, but 85 inches is a little over 7 feet. So it seems like they should be able to remove like at least the top 2 feet of window coverings without impairing the safety at all, or without allowing most folks to peer in. I note that most folks are not 6 feet 5 inches tall or taller, so their eyeballs probably are not above 6 feet above sidewalk level. So it really shouldn't harm them at all to, other than it won't look as good as it does now, but to cut away the top couple of feet of the window screens. I don't see where that would harm them at all.
Thank you. So I took this into consideration as well, and there's a business that's down, which he made reference to, it's actually a women's spa. And they have they have coverage, but it's not covering 100% of their windows. And so that's children here, women there. Again, I think that that full coverage of these windows and the stated hardship that people can look in, I think that not being able to see what's going on outside is just as dangerous. I think that there's issues, if there are issues going on, if there are people, whether it's the homeless or whether it's somebody of ill intent, that they're not going to be able to see what's going on before, until after something happens. Again, we go by hardships, and I think like a hardship that people could say is that, I don't have enough advertisement for my business. Well, they have plenty of advertisement for their business. So, so I'm willing to make a motion unless somebody has any questions, more questions.
I did have a question. I believe that county code requires that the window coverings be at 50%. Is that correct, Mr. Peterson? Correct. So I believe that I'm comfortable. I think 50% would be the sum total of what Commissioner Beloin indicated, just based on positioning. So they could either move it up, down, or something, but I think our current code does give enough protection for them to be able to place it in a way to provide the safety and security for their customers.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. So I'm ready to make my motion. So I make my motion to deny V101, and that all businesses within the shopping center, which is owned by Chastain Meadow 2014 LLC, shall be required to comply with the sign ordinance requirement, which limits window coverage to 50% or less, and that all businesses shall have 60 days from this date to come into compliance. That's my motion.
There's a motion for denial. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Beloin.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
And just for clarification purposes, there's nothing stopping them from removing a portion of the signage, and then removing all the signage from the the office area and then replacing that with like blinds or something like that so people couldn't look in. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Call to question. And V101 is denied 4-0 with comments to the applicant. Next case, Mr. Peterson.
Yes, next case is variance case V103. Lauren and Marcus Scott request a variance to allow an accessory structure, an accessory use, which is proposed pool equipment, to be located on the side of the principal building in land lot 215 of the 20th District. The property is located on the west side of Tayside Crossing, north of Rosa Penna Lane. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V103? None? Okay, let the record show there's no one opposed. Would the applicant please come forward to be sworn in?
Good afternoon. If you both will state your names for the record.
I'm Lauren Scott. I'm Kelly Jennings.
Thank you. You have 10 minutes to give us your presentation.
Okay. This variance request is for pool equipment. It's already established pool equipment that's been there for 8 years. The reason why we had to ask for a variance is because we're looking to do some other work on the house, and we bought this home in October, and we realized that this actual pool equipment wasn't varianced. So before we move forward, we need to make sure that this is taken care of. And so the actual pool equipment, show that one first. That you can kind of, so the pool equipment, those are drain lines. The pool equipment is right there to the right. So that's the pool equipment. We have our 3 AC things, and then there's another. That's the pool equipment that we're talking about. And then I had gotten a message on Friday. Unfortunately, I didn't get the message until Monday that there was a question of, we'd already gotten, our neighbors had all signed the variance. We're happy to do it. But there was a question of, because we border the Merida Country Club, and so there's a question about if the Merida Country Club had any, opinions or thoughts on it. So my husband contacted them on Monday, and we have an email from them that they sent us that they were like, we've seen the pool equipment. It's no problem. We have no problem with it. It's well-established pool equipment, and it is well-covered pool equipment. There's a video. This is just a video showing the pool equipment, and then that's like a kind of a, I don't know, like the hedge between us and the golf course. And so it's fairly, it's not obtuse, it's fairly covered. And again, this pool equipment has been there for 8 years. We inherited it. It did not know that it needed a variance. I think potentially laws might have changed since this was, I don't really know how it wasn't varianced. But we bought the home in October, and it was a surprise to us too. So before we were potentially thinking about adding on a 4th garage, but before we even got down the road, when somebody saw the plan, I think our architect or somebody saw the plan and was like, is that equipment variance? They were just checking to make sure that all of our T's were crossed. And so we submitted it, and it was not. So we just wanted to make sure that everything was all set before we moved forward. So I think that's it.
You have 7 minutes and 28 seconds if you'd like to continue. No? Okay.
I don't have anything.
All right, we'll turn it over to Commissioner Malone to lead the discussion.
Thank you. So yeah, I just noticed, about 10 days ago that even though you had some neighbor consents, there was no consent from Merida Country Club, and Merida Country Club is really the affected neighbor.
Sure.
And so I sent a copy of your application to actually I sent it to an officer of the Overlook HOA, who in turn submitted it to the club.
Okay.
And I guess that led to the club getting you a consent. But I apologize for the fact that I didn't have the consent before today. But what I note from your presentation, which was excellent, is that this isn't going to adversely impact anybody. And I'm sorry you had to sit through that. I hope you had a great civics lesson and learned something.
We did,
and maybe,
actually. We were rooting for it.
maybe you go on to be a lawyer like Kevin Moore and accomplish great things. And I hope you enjoyed today's proceedings. You can have a seat. Thank you. My motion's for approval of the variances requested, subject to any staff comments that may pertain.
Have a motion for approval. Is there a second?
I second it.
Second by Commissioner Swanson. Call to question. V-103 passes 4-0. Next case, Mr. Peterson, or I think our last case.
No, we got one more after
Oh,
that.
one more after that, okay.
All right, V-104, Richard Scalise requests a variance to allow an accessory structure, which is a proposed in-ground pool to be located on the side of the principal building in land lot 768 of the 17th District. The property is located on the east side of Orchard Road, north of Valley View Drive. The applicant is present, and earlier there's one person here opposed. All those who want to address the board, either for or against, please come forward and be sworn in.
Good afternoon, Mr. Moore. You may begin.
Good afternoon. Kevin Moore here on behalf of the applicant to present this application for variance for property, a residential lot located on Orchard Road. The lot is highlighted on your screen, which currently has a house. That house is vacant. To the immediate south of that lot, the adjacent home, that's the home where the applicant lives and owns that home. The applicant also owns what's highlighted on your screen, and that's the lot that we're here for the variance request for. So I just wanted to kind of highlight for you that dynamic. He actually owns both homes, and we're here to talk about a proposed new project on the property that's adjacent, that's now a vacant home. So I'm going to turn to the site plan and go through with you on our requested variance and why we think it's justified. Again, to reorient you, this is the street, which is Orchard Road. This is the subject property. There's currently a house located here on the property. And again, the applicant's existing home and property is located adjacent to the bottom of this site plan. The plan is to demolish the existing house. What he would like to do is build a small, what is a small house. It'll be a house approximately 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, but really will serve as a type of pool house with a guest house. This would be the pool location here and the pool equipment located in the rear here, but the pool deck and pool area is located here. Under the ordinances, a pool has to be located to the rear of the principal structure. This is proposed to be to the side of the principal structure that would be on this particular lot and property, and to the side. It also, again, as you saw the overhead and the GIS, his house and property is located here. So the number one impacted property is his own by this arrangement that he's planning for here. Certainly, just by looking at a flat piece of paper, if the pool location was to be to the rear with the house in front and a more traditional orientation and one that would not require a variance, the question is why move it to the side when you can do it in the back? The issue here is a couple of things. Number one, this property slopes from the street, Orchard Road, to the rear. And as you get to about this location in the property, that slope starts to get a little more, a little more intense. The degree of that slope, such that if you put the pool to the rear, it wouldn't require a retaining wall. That retaining wall would probably be, based on our professional designers and engineers' estimation, a wall that would be 15 to 20 feet of a retaining wall that would have to drop down to the rear of the property here in order to install that. From a neighboring property, obviously you would have then a large wall at that location. Also, in terms of overall stormwater management, by placing the pool in this location, it leaves this area here without having that level of disturbance. In addition, you can see the small box here, which is placed there for purposes of stormwater management. So it allows for full stormwater management as well in this location, as well as a reduction in any walls and visual impact to neighboring properties, and therefore also keeping the impact of the planned improvements simply to this location, which only impacts him. Obviously, as the applicant and owner, he's consenting to that and is perfectly fine with that. In fact, if you can see how this would be arranged, he's able to do this so that he can obviously use the pool and house for his own personal purposes. I also wanted to reserve some time for the neighbor, Mr. Brown, that lives here, who also wants to speak and have a couple of comments in support. So I did want to, I know that's important for this board to hear from them, and I want to make sure I have enough time for him. But again, this variance request is simply to allow a pool to be to the side as opposed to the rear of the principal structure. And based on the topography of this lot, it's a far better location and has far less impact on any neighboring properties to place the pool in that location with that orientation. So for now, I'm going to turn it over to Matt and let him introduce himself, and he can speak to it.
My name is Matthew Brown. I do own the house on the other side, adjacent to the property, I guess the northern side. And I just hadn't had a chance to connect with Mr. Scalise before today in a meaningful way. I just had questions about what he was doing. He sent me the applications. I know him from before, and he's always been very, straightforward about everything and transparent. So I just had some questions about where the equipment would be and how it would sit, and if there would be any grading, where any water would be going on my property. And he totally addressed those before the hearing. So, I have no opposition at all, and, quite confident that he's going to do a really nice project. I've seen work he's done before, and it's always top notch, and he doesn't cut any corners. So I'm just here, in support of it now. All right?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
With that, I'm available to answer any questions you may have. The applicant and owner, Mr. Scalise, is here as well, and we're happy to answer any questions that you would have. And if you don't have any, that'd be splendid as well, but I'm sure you will. But we'd respectfully request your approval of this variance request. I do know that there was, per Mr. Peterson's reading of this and per our review of the comments from staff, there was a comment from Cobb County Stormwater Management that we're in full agreement to. And our plan contemplates that and comment and takes it into consideration, and we're in agreement with staff comments as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe that there was opposition here. Okay, opposition, if you will come up, identify yourself. You also have 10 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name's Ryan Shalander. I've never been to one of these before, so civic lesson is great. Did notice, not that I'm refuting, Mr. Moore was not sworn in with the rest of us. Not sure if that matters at all. But I do have opposition to variance 104 on 3935 Orchard Road. I think first thing pertinent for the county to know is that Mr. Scalise, the applicant, is in the middle of a litigation that is concerning, it's concerning not the subject matter house, but his residence at 3947, as well as the next house down. That's filed in Cobb County Superior Court. I have these I can pass out. It has the file number of that. But that case involves unnatural drainage and water runoff coming from 3947 and 3959 Orchard onto my property at 3936. So I am the property directly east from both of the applicant's properties. one of them in the middle of, like I said, a litigation. I think that the first thing, Cobb County, the board here should, consider the fact that maybe this should be held over or, until the current litigation has been sorted out, right? While the variance, I understand, is pertinent to the side pool, placement of the pool on the side of the property, and it's not really about the non-permeable surface, I feel like it should be considered. Again, if you look at the 3 properties that I border, 2 of which the applicant owns, from GIS, the GIS website, I just have some quick figures. So subject property, I've got an estimate of, the lot about 19,600 square feet. Rough estimate showing about 5,500 square feet of impervious surface, brings currently about 28.3. I know in the variance packet that was provided, the proposed project is going to be at 33.17, which is within what the county likes, right? But coming to the south, the top picture is, thank you, the applicant's house. Again, per GIS, doing my estimates, I have the lot at about 20,500 square feet, impervious surface estimated at about 14,900 square feet. It gives your non-permeable about 73.1% on that next property. Granted, he doesn't have a problem with the side pool. I feel like other properties should definitely be thought of. Going again to the south part of the litigation that I mentioned, 3959 Orchard Road, about 25,000 square foot lot, about 12,700 square feet of impervious surface. That percentage estimated right around 49% non-permeable. I believe there was a variance approved for 3959 Orchard. I do not know the status of any variance for 3947 Orchard. So again, those 3 properties, right? Subject property, Scalise's other property, and the other one to the south. We're, again, estimating those 3 lots are about 65,000 square feet. Estimating right now we're looking at about 33,000 square feet of impervious surface. So those 3 lots are about 50.5% non-permeable. Based on my calculations, again, I'm not a licensed technical engineer or anything like that, right? Last part I want to bring up, looking through the variance, and again, Mr. Moore brought it up, right? The plan and the hardship that they're showing for the variance being needed is because of the sloping backyard, right? If you look at the topography, which this was the map that was provided in, that's the back side of the piece of paper. This is as is. If you can zoom that in or out for me, I much appreciate that. Again, looking at that, I don't see a unique slope from the back edge of the back deck of the current property or the current house, which is about where a normal backyard pool would start, to the lowest part of the lot in the southeast corner of that lot. There's about 9 feet of slope, right? To me, that's about the normal depth of a swimming pool. That back part of the swimming pool, right there is your yard, right? So I don't see the slope causing a hardship. Maybe it's a little inconvenient having a residence with your pool in the backyard of the next property over. I don't see it as a hardship that requires a variance. Okay. I think that's all I have, unless, do I have time I can yield?
You do, you
I
have
can
3
talk and
minutes
talk and
and
talk.
43 seconds.
Okay, I am not going to use that. I will yield that time and be available for questions, should there be any.
Awesome, thank
Thank
you
you
so
for your time.
much. The time has been yielded. We'll close the public hearing on this one. Turn it over to Commissioner Swanson for leading the discussion.
The opposition has talked about some litigation on 2 properties. Mr. Johnson, can you please speak to that?
As to the question about the encroachment or that affects?
About the litigation, that's not something that's our purview?
No, we do
That's
not take
something that
that.
we don't take that into consideration?
No, that's not before this board. At most, you might take notice of it, but it should not affect your decision as to whether or not there is a hardship presented.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Andrew, Mr. Heath, Andrew. It's a long day.
Hello, Andrew Heath, Cobb Stormwater Management.
Hi, Andrew. So I know we first started with this whole variance, trying to figure out what was going on, especially when you look at this and there's a house and you can't see the pool fitting on the side. But now, it was nice enough to be able to get what it is that they're doing, and it's demoing the existing house, making a smaller house, and putting a pool to the side. So in doing all of this, can you speak to, I know that it is below the impervious coverage, and I know that there were concerns in the past with regards to runoff. And so can you just speak to the plan that we have presented in front of us with the pool to the side, and then the topo going from the front of the property to the back of the property, and speak to having this to the side, if that's going to affect it negatively, or there's no effect because of some of the things that Kevin Moore said that they were putting in for stormwater management.
Right.
It's yours.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I appreciate the applicant turning in that better plan. That did help us to understand
It helped
that
us a lot.
And the property, as I believe on the new plan, I've forgotten the exact number, but it is under the 35%. But they are over the 5,000 square feet. So they are going to have to provide stormwater management on the site. And I revised my comments. I don't know if they made it into the packet before our meeting today, but I did revise the comments just to clarify what's required for the site. But it would just be our typical stormwater requirements for any site that exceeds the 5,000 square feet. Concerning the pool being to the side of the house, the lot does have a lot of topographic relief from front to back. Certainly, if they tried to have it all kind of, so to speak, on one level that is from the front of the house to where the pool is, and then drop down to existing grade, as Mr. Moore was saying, that would take a substantial wall at the back to do that. If they did if they put the pool behind the house, but somehow terraced it so the pool was at a higher elevation, and then, the home was at the higher elevation, and then you step down to the pool, and then you step down to grade, it might require, more walls, but they might be less high. Being at the side like that is kind of keeping the house and the pool together at the same grade, more or less. And so it does help a little bit with the topography to do that without having to have the steps to get down the slope. They do have, that preserves that rear yard area, as Mr. Moore was saying, because of the way the topography is, the stormwater wants to run to the rear, so it just makes sense that the system that they would be building would probably be at the rear of the lot. So preserving that area, as the site plan shows, at the rear of the lot for that does provide a place for that too. So I don't really have any objection to the pool being at the side of the property. So from a stormwater management standpoint, it's fine.
And so, Mr. Heath, I know that we've been, with the comments, you have placed this into staff comments so that I can reference the staff comments, your staff comment?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for him?
Thank you. Well, Andrew, so first question. Would the creation of this pool in any way divert or concentrate stormwater and direct it toward the property to the rear?
With the pool itself, the pool and the house combination, the way their stormwater system is going to work is they're going to have to pick up the majority of the impervious area on site and bring it to the system that's going to manage it. So in that regard, it won't really disperse it off like kind of in a way that's, unwanted. I think the bigger problem that we would have to address in design is that when you bring all of that water to some system to treat it, the system is going to contain it and it's going to control the flow rates, but then the water has to leave that system. So when it leaves the system, it's going to leave just out of like one location. So at that point, we would want to, and this is kind of getting to the weeds of the design, but we would want to be sure that where the water leaves that system, it is going to kind of disperse it back at its existing flow path so that we don't create like a hosing effect, you might say, on a downstream neighbor.
But that is something you plan to address and take care of?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, next question. We're asked to consider a variance today to allow the pool to go to the side or closer to a road than it otherwise generally would go. Assuming the pool was built further to the rear, would that in any way be more advantageous to the property owner who was in opposition today?
With respect to stormwater management, if the two are put sort of one in front of the other, the house in front of the pool, then it does consume a little bit more of the lot area. Now, they might be able to, I'm not quite sure how it's situated now. It might potentially be able to move up a little closer to the front building line. But my main concern from like a design standpoint is putting one behind the other. Do we have enough room behind the home to put the system in and then also create something behind the system to kind of divert that water back into sheet flow again?
Right.
So I guess my thought is, I think if they put the pool behind the home, I think we could, if we needed to, like if, let's say they weren't getting a variance and they just brought in the house with a pool behind it, we would have to figure out a way to make that work. So I think we could do it either way. I think being to the side maybe preserves a little bit more room to the rear for us to work with, but honestly, we could probably make it work either way.
All right, but by allowing the variance and allowing this to be to the side, we're allowing there to be more room for both stormwater detention facilities or control facilities and more room for greenery and other things to slow the surface water runoff.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your assistance. At this time, I make a motion to approve V104 and with the condition that the applicant at the time of placing this pool in, meet with stormwater management and follow the strict guidelines that Mr. Heath wants to have in place with regards to the management of the water flow off of this property.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Russell. Call to question. V104 passes 4-0. Next case, Mr. Peterson.
Are we done?
Okay, last case is variance case V109. Thomas Campbell requests a variance to increase the maximum allowable impervious coverage from 35% to 65% in land lots 327 or land lot 327 of the 20th district. The property is located on the west side of Battlefield Creek Drive, north of Meadow Path Drive. Is the applicant present? Okay, let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V109? Okay, let the record show there's no one opposed.
Good afternoon. Thank you for sitting with us all day.
Save the best for last.
Save the best for last. You have 10 minutes to start with your presentation.
My name is Thomas Campbell. I'm the architect and the applicant, and I'm representing Mr. McDearest, the property owner who's here with us. We are here we're requesting a variance to keep the lot coverage at what it currently is. So it's currently 65%. The property is zoned R20, which has a 35% cap on the lot coverage. And when the subdivision, it's in Battlefield, or it's on Battlefield Creek, but when the subdivision was originally created, I think a handful of the properties were over the allowable lot coverage, if that was a thing 15 or 20 years ago. So Mr. McDearest would like to do a detached two-car garage, 700 square feet. And so when we started the design and kind of the site work of what we were looking at, we noticed that his existing lot coverage was at 65%. So what we wanted to propose was to do the design in a way that we would pull it on part of his existing driveway, which is already non-permeable. And then the second half of it, we would capture with a dry well system, or potentially his neighborhood has a retention pond, which sits in his backyard. So that's another option if we wanted to go that route, to just divert it there. But we're proposing a dry well system to just capture the extra 400 or 500 square feet of it, to where it would ultimately be 65%. So that's what we are proposing. Let's see. This might be a little microphone over here. So we are looking at the proposed site plan. So here's the property, existing house here, existing driveway. And so the 700 square foot, 714 square feet is right here at the end of the driveway. And then the little square indicates a proposed dry well system. And then we can see on the very back of the survey is a chain link fence, which is protecting the existing detention pond. So that is an option if that was preferable. I think we would prefer to just divert it that way, or do a dry well system. But the request is to keep the lot coverage at 65%. And that's all I have.
All right, you have a little over 6 minutes and 25 seconds. As with all other applicants.
I think that's it.
Okay. No worries.
Without just giving unwanted information, so.
Okay, well, this does reside in District 1, so Commissioner Boulogne, if you will lead the discussion.
Thank you. Let me start with Mr. Heath, if I could.
Thank you. We should just give him a seat at the podium.
Oh, Andrew Heath, Cobb Stormwater Management.
All right. You have any idea how historically this happens, that we end up with 65% coverage when we're supposed to have 35%?
Just keep building.
Yeah. Do you know if the pool was I'll ask the applicant as well, but do you know if the pool was there originally or if that was an ad or?
That, I don't know. I don't know the whole history of the site.
Okay. If we were to approve the variance, would any stormwater mitigation be required?
Yes, the applicant mentioned the detention pond behind the home, and that is convenient. However, at the time the subdivision was designed, it would have only been designed assuming that they built to the maximum on the lot. So while we would want the runoff from the site to eventually go into the detention pond, they would need to provide that additional mitigation actually on their lot for the amount that they're over the maximum. And that's the way my comments address it. So they would provide that mitigation, and then the overflow from that would then be directed to the pond.
And did you see the mitigation that was proposed?
I do believe they did, or that I saw it. I think they're proposing some flow well type units that maybe are kind of drawn in conceptually. And when they would need to bring in a site plan though, you know, with the full design specifications and everything for us to review, but we could take care of that during plan review.
Okay. These dry wells, did they, over time, do they have a probability of losing some level of efficiency?
Yeah, over time, definitely they're going to collect some trash and debris and sediment. So over time, they would tend to lose volume over time.
Okay. Do you perceive any other ways to mitigate here the amount of stormwater? I know some things have been done otherwise in the past, including like reduction of impervious areas that are existing.
Yeah, certainly to the extent that there were impervious area on site that could be removed, that would reduce impervious area. Or if there are areas that are impervious, the county will give you a credit for like trading some impervious areas, like maybe concrete walkways for a pervious paver walkway, and you get a credit for doing that. But yeah, to the extent that impervious area could be removed, that would definitely move their number down, you know, to a lower percentage.
Okay. Thank you. If anyone has any questions of Andrew, otherwise I'll go to the applicant again. If I could, get the applicant back up. Are you willing to consider at least making some architectural changes to somehow reduce the impervious to something below 65%?
It's something that we have talked about. If that was, you know, I think the dry well system would be the most straightforward approach, but we are open to that.
Okay. With that then, what I plan to do is make a motion that we hold this for 30 days so you folks can at least consider that and try to bring us back something with a little lower impervious coverage area.
I think that's, I don't want to speak for, you know, the entire team if we're able to do that at, you know, right at this moment.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead. You can have a seat.
Okay.
I'll just go ahead and make my motion at this time that we hold this for 30 days in order to give them the opportunity to consider that.
We have a motion to hold. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Swanson. Call to question. B109 is held 4-0. I believe that concludes our cases for today. We do have housekeeping, which are minutes. Have we had a chance to review those? Are there questions, concerns, or considerations that we need to be made? Any additions? I'll entertain a motion for approval of both minutes.
So moved.
And a second?
A second.
Second by Commissioner Swanson. Call to question. The minutes are approved 4-0. And can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
And a second? Second by Commissioner Russell. Call to question. We are adjourned 4-0. Thank you, everyone. Have a great